Well, hi, y'all, and welcome to Dallas. And a big Texas howdy to you. Howdy! Hey, you might just be wondering, who the heck is that guy? Well, I am a distant cousin of Mr. Dick Frank, and my name is Homer Randall Frank. But everybody just calls me Bubba, except for Dick. He doesn't really call me anymore ever since that barbecue incident. Hey, Dick, if you're out there, I'm sorry, man. How was I supposed to know you're not supposed to barbecue indoors? I mean, you think those tall ceilings in there would have been all right, huh? Well, anyways, I am here, folks, to welcome you to Dallas and to this 25th anniversary franchise convention. So, welcome to you. Can you believe that Chucky's been around for 25 years? Woo-wee! 25 years is a long time. And hey, I can still remember when I went to Chuck E. Cheese's for the first time. Oh yeah, it was for my 21st birthday. Yeah, I went there, I was so excited, I was gonna get me a 7-course meal. Yeah, I was gonna get me a 6-pack and a slice of pizza. Oh baby, those were the days. But things were a lot different back then.
When you're in for a real good time. Chuck E. Cheese is Chuck E. Cheese. When you're in for
Video games were brand new, disco was in, and families needed a place to play and have some fun. And, well, Chuck E. Cheese's was born, and so was Showbiz Pizza. Now, this is where you can get confused, so pay attention. The two companies fought it out for a while, but then they became one company, Showbiz. But they didn't keep the Showbiz name, they went with Chuck E. Cheese's. It's just a wild story. So as a part of tonight's festivities, CEC asked me to put together a little video kind of walking us down through the years of the past 25 years of Chuck E. Cheese. So, how could I refuse? I couldn't, man. I couldn't. And so, let's see what we got here. Tom Ward, now you started back in the early days of Chuck E. Cheese. Tell me what you remember about those early days.
I remember when I first started, it was pretty spectacular. I had just gotten out of the Navy, came in here and saw an ad, went to this place called Chuck E. Cheese to apply for a job, and it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. It was cool. They had all this animatronics and games. I thought, man, what a cool place to work.
Animatronics? Wow. So did you get to work on those bad boys? Huh?
I started out as a technician at Chuck E. Cheese over in Arlington, right here in the Metroplex here.
So Gene, tell me what you remember about those first days of working for Showbiz Pizza Place.
Well, when I first started with this concept back in 1980, we were opening 5 restaurants a week.
5 stores a week? Man, that's insane. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's cool. That's cool.
You know, the first 5 years of my career with the company under the Bob Brock regime were totally different. I mean, unfortunately at the time, I don't think we really knew who we were, who our market was, the market we were going after, and consequently, as the saying goes, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Ron, let me tell you something. That is good. I'm going to write that down. What was that again? It was, if you don't know, then any road there. That's, man, that's powerful. I'm going to hang on to that one right there. So at the beginning, there were actually 2 companies. You had your Chuck E. Cheese on the one hand and your Showbiz Pizza on the other hand. Now, ain't that just confusing? But this feller named Nolan Bushnell, now he's the one that created Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. Now, Mark, you've been around for a long time. Tell me about Nolan Bushnell.
Well, I never met Nolan Bushnell personally, but I do have quite a few recollections of him being just a real creative guy and an innovator. Basically, somebody who really couldn't pay attention to any one particular project at any one time.
Man, I know how that is, you know, because I got me about 4 transmissions They're out there in my front yard, you know, in the bathtub that's out there. And I also got me the 69 Nova that's up on blocks. And, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to get that thing finished. I think it's just going to rust out, you know. So it's kind of like that, right? Just too many projects?
I think that's probably part of the reason that Pizza Time Theater got into trouble. There were so many projects going on that really weren't producing any real income for Pizza Time Theater, and basically, you know, sucked out all the profits from Chuck E. Cheese to keep some of these projects afloat.
I know how that is too, because that Nova is sucking the money right out of my wallet. Doug Haley, tell me about this Bob Brock feller.
The thing that was interesting about Bob is he would stop and he would talk. If something related to something in the past, he'd stop and basically tell a story of whatever that relationship was, and he was extremely interesting. He had quite a unique background.
Really? Hey, tell me about some of them stories that Bob used to tell.
I don't remember the stories. I just remember everything would stop.
Well, those must have been real interesting stories. Can't remember any of them.
Probably the biggest thing I remember about Bob is a man of vision. He was a real idea man. You could sit down in meetings with him and the rest of us would just be starting to think, and Bob's already popping out 10, 15 different ideas that maybe would work. A lot of them were pretty crazy.
Oh man, I've had me some crazy ideas myself. I had this one idea where I was going to take me some mayonnaise and I was going to feed it directly to the tuna fish, you know, in the ocean, so that when you caught them and canned them, they'd already have mayonnaise with them. Now, that's pretty crazy. I like to think outside the box, you know what I mean? I'm a thinker. I'm an idea man. I got them. They're just rolling all the time. Ideas, ideas, ideas. Just like Bob Brock, just like Nolan Bushnell. I'm an idea man. You know, creative genius is what I am.
But with any type of a idea brainstorming, you've got to get through the crazy ones to find the good ones, and he did have some good ones.
All right, so then you had the two companies, right? You had your Billy Bob and your Showbiz on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you had your Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. Well, they were going to duke it out, right? You had your Billy Bob, who's like The Rock, right? And then you had your Chuck E. Cheese, who's like Goldberg. It was going to be like WWF Raw, baby. And then they're going to go in there, and Billy Bob's like going to throw the flying elbow like this. And Chucky's like, no, don't throw the flying elbow. And Chucky's like, yeah, I'm going to throw the pile driver on you. And he picked up Billy Bob. He started banging on his head. Billy Bob, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kick your... So tell me, Alice, what do you remember about all this competition between Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese?
Basically, back then when we were competitors, one of the real estate criterias, and it was basically the only criteria, was to get into the market first. It didn't matter where or how much we paid, but whoever got there first owned the market. And so it was a real, it was a real competitive race to see who could get in the market first. And we opened, you know, like 31 stores in 1981 and 79 in 1982. So we had a large staff out there hustling like crazy.
Dang it. Now that is a lot of stores. What's that like? What, like one a month? Something? Man.
Well, of course, I was on the Showbiz side, so I knew Showbiz and Billy Bob would be the ultimate winner.
Billy Bob? Well, I could have told you that wasn't going to work, because everybody knows that kids love mice better than bears, okay? 2 words for you: waste of time.